the engineer's dream and the public's scorn. Our story begins not with an apartment, but with a monumental struggle. In the 1880s, Paris was preparing to host the 1889 World's Fair, a celebration of the centennial of the French Revolution. A contest was launched for a centerpiece monument, and the ambitious design from bridge builder Gustave Eiffel was chosen. But Paris was horrified. Over 300 artists, writers, and architects signed a public petition, published in the newspaper Le Temps, decrying the project. They called it a black and gigantic factory chimney, a hateful column of bolted sheet metal that would dominate and disgrace the City of Light. They feared it would crush the Notre Dame, the Louvre, and the Arc de Triomphe under its barbaric mass. Through this storm of criticism, Eiffel persevered. He was a brilliant engineer and a savvy businessman. He knew the tower's real value would be in its utility and its ability to captivate the public. And perhaps he also wanted a personal reward for his efforts. A quiet place to escape the very world that had so loudly scorned him. The revelation, a private world in the sky. As the tower neared completion, a curious story began to circulate. Journalists invited to preview the structure returned with whispers of a marvel not included on any blueprint. A private apartment, created by and for Gustave Eiffel himself, nestled just below the summit at 285 meters, 935 feet. This was not a mere office or a storage room. It was a full-fledged home in the sky, a breathtakingly impossible space furnished with the cozy comforts of a Parisian bourgeois flat. The apartment featured warmly patterned wallpaper on the walls, rich dark wood furniture including cabinets, a couch, and a grand piano. Oil paintings on the walls, many of them gifts from admiring friends and clients. A large dining table for entertaining guests. Heavy, luxurious rugs covering the iron floor grates. The most stunning feature, however, was the view. Floor-to-ceiling windows on all sides offered a 360-degree panorama of Paris, unlike anything any human had ever experienced before. It was a vista reserved solely for its creator. The purpose, a sanctuary and a stage. Eiffel used his area for two distinct purposes. One, a scientific sanctuary. Gustave Eiffel was first and foremost an engineer and a man of science. He fiercely defended his tower against critics by emphasizing its scientific uses, meteorological observations, physics experiments, and as a crucial pillar for the new science of radiotelegraphy. The apartment was his private laboratory. He installed precision scientific instruments and conducted experiments on aerodynamics and gravity, often dropping objects from the balcony to study wind resistance. 2. The ultimate VIP lounge. The apartment instantly became the most exclusive invitation in the world. Who could refuse an offer to have dinner with Monsieur Eiffel in his private home at the top of the world's tallest structure? Eiffel was a master showman. He understood that hosting the world's elite would be the ultimate vindication. He entertained a stream of famous and influential guests, transforming their visits into powerful propaganda for his tower. One of his most famous guests was Thomas Edison, who visited in 1889. The two geniuses shared a legendary dinner there, during which Edison presented Eiffel with a gift, one of his new phonograph machines, which remains on display in the tower to this day. Other notable figures rumored to have enjoyed his hospitality include the divine Sarah Bernhardt and royalty from abroad. For these guests, the experience was surreal, sipping champagne and discussing art and science while floating above the entire city of Paris. The public's fascination, the unrentable castle. The existence of the apartment captured the public's imagination far more than the tower's engineering ever could. Newspapers ran stories about this incredible pied-à-terre. A rumor spread that Eiffel was going to live there permanently. Most famously, the public began to write to him, begging to rent the apartment for a night. They offered enormous sums of money. One man from Paris reportedly wrote every single day, pestering Eiffel for the chance to propose to his girlfriend there. Eiffel refused every single offer. Money was not the point. This space was his personal retreat, his intellectual clubhouse, and his strategic tool. It was the one part of the globally famous monument that was entirely, unquestionably his. The apartment today, a window to the past. Gustave Eiffel did not permanently move into his sky-high home, but he used it frequently until his death in 1923. For decades after, the apartment fell into a state of neglect, used for storage and largely forgotten by the public. In the late 20th century, as historical interest grew, the Eiffel Tower's operating company, SET, decided to restore it. They used historical photographs to recreate the scene faithfully. Today you can visit it. The apartment is no longer a secret, but a museum exhibit. The wax figures of Gustave Eiffel, his daughter Claire, and Thomas Edison have been placed inside, frozen in time around the phonograph. The walls are once again covered in the original patterns, and the furniture has been meticulously recreated. While you cannot dine at his table or play his piano, you can press your nose against the glass and peer into that incredible space. You can see the very room where a visionary engineer, once mocked by his entire city, built a private kingdom in the clouds to celebrate his triumph, and in doing so, forever cemented the Eiffel Tower not just as a feat of engineering, but as a monument filled with human wonder and romance. It stands as the ultimate symbol of a creator claiming the finest fruit of his labor for himself, a secret room at the top of the world.